too. You'll optimize muscle glycogen, encourage better results, and help repair muscles by using a carbohydrate and protein beverage. It's funny how far apart the resistance and endurance exercise seem, but how similar the nutritional requirements are for them. Even though there are small differences in the details of what to eat and how much to eat before and during endurance and resistance training, both carbohydrates and proteins are important for optimal performance and body composition. Now that we've discussed pre and during exercise nutrition, let's take a look at post-exercise nutrition. The post-exercise period is widely considered the most critical part of nutrient timing. Theoretically, consuming the proper ratio of nutrients immediately following exercise can initiate the rebuilding of damaged muscle tissue and restoration of energy reserves. This may enhance both body composition and exercise performance. The entire concept of consuming nutrients immediately post-exercise for maximal gains is often referred to as the window of opportunity, or your anabolic window. Generally, this anabolic window is considered to be within 30 to 60 minutes after your workout. But is this anabolic window as small as we think? Do we need to rush to the protein powder or smoothie station as soon as we drop a weight or get off the treadmill in order to maximize muscle protein synthesis and recover fully? Or for that matter, does it even matter at all? Is it really a window of opportunity? Let's start by looking at general recommendations for replenishing your fuel stores post-exercise. The first issue is that your rate of muscle glycogen resynthesis, or how quickly you can restock your stored glucose in your muscles and liver after you've depleted them during exercise. Eating carbohydrates within 30 minutes of finishing your exercise seems to result in a greater rate of muscle glycogen resynthesis than if you delay eating carbohydrates by just 2 hours. The benefit to eating quickly after a workout is thought to be due to your muscles being more insulin sensitive at this time. This means that your muscles make more efficient use of insulin immediately after exercise. Some studies have suggested that up to 1.5 grams of carbs per kilogram of body weight, or 225 grams of carbohydrates for a 150-pound or 68-kilogram person after a workout. But far less than this is actually needed or beneficial for glycogen resynthesis. Immediately post-exercise, you should aim for a higher glycemic index carbohydrate source, like a bagel, a muffin, pasta, or cereal. Some research shows that a beverage with glucose and fructose might take advantage of certain sugar transporters and allow for the best rate of glycogen resynthesis. The research also shows that adding protein to your carbohydrates after your workout may help to further the increase in glycogen storage and also increase muscle protein synthesis. And it's the ratio of 3 to 4 grams of carbohydrate per 1 gram of protein in the post-workout meal is the general recommendation for these benefits to occur. So now let's go back to the question of the anabolic window. This concept suggests that in order to maximize muscle protein synthesis and prevent protein breakdown, you should consume nutrients as soon as possible after working out. That seems like common sense, right? The quicker you get your fuel back into your cells, the quicker you can build muscle. Well, it's not that easy. While there's plenty of research regarding the window of opportunity, there is beginning to be a new school of thought on this. Don't get me wrong. If you were to ask me, does the anabolic window exist? My answer would be an unwavering yes. But if you were to ask me, is it really a window of opportunity? In other words, is this something you need to take advantage of? My answer would be it depends. There's a scientific evidence to support the idea of an anabolic window, but it appears that it is not as important as we originally thought. For athletes who are competing extremely hard or performing 2 or more workouts per day, then the window of opportunity is very important to maximize muscle glycogen resynthesis, and protein synthesis so they can begin the recovery process as soon as possible. They need to train or compete within just a few hours. However, for most individuals, while this window of opportunity still exists, it is not necessary to change your habits to take advantage of it, but doing so may optimize your results. For example, if you work out on Monday morning and then eat normally all day long, by the time you get to your workout on Tuesday morning, you'll have no issue with glycogen storage or protein synthesis. But can you restore or repair faster by consuming the proper nutrients immediately post-workout? Maybe. But if you don't, it's not really a big deal, unless you exercise again within a few hours. I would suggest you shift your focus more to the total amount of protein and carbohydrate you eat over the course of the day, as opposed to hitting the window of opportunity. For improvements in body composition, it is likely a key to understand your total daily needs. I personally aim for a post-workout nutrition shake, but this is part of my normal habit and in line with my current exercise goals. A mistake I see a lot is when people who are interested in fat loss worry too much about pre, during, and post-workout foods. I often see a big pre-workout fuel up, a sports drink during exercise, and then rushing home after the workout to eat again, even though they're still stuffed from all that food, and they only worked out for 45 minutes. This is simply too much. The food doesn't match the goal. It is a clear case of a little bit of information getting way out of control. For this person, some light food to fuel the intense workout would be great. Sipping water during the workout is good too. And then just simply getting into the next appropriate meal filled with lean proteins, healthy vegetables, and fruit, and some whole grains would be just fine. Super easy, super simple. Another area that gets a bit confusing is how often you should eat. This is called meal frequency. How many meals should you eat per day? Well, the information out there is all over the place. Some suggest 3 meals, some suggest 6, some even below or above these recommendations. What about calorie distribution? Should you eat more calories in the morning or at night? Or does it even matter? A study that I helped with a few years back investigated whether a high-protein diet, which was 35% protein, consumed in either 3 or 6 meals per day versus a standard diet of 3 meals per day at 15% protein would improve body composition and metabolism in overweight individuals. To determine what improved body composition would look like, we measured total body fat, abdominal fat, lean body mass, post-meal thermogenesis, or the increase in metabolism following a meal, and leptin production. And leptin is a hormone that regulates hunger. We'll talk more about it in another lecture. Well, we found that total body fat and abdominal fat significantly decreased in both high protein groups. And lean body mass, post-meal thermogenesis, and leptin increased when high protein meals were eaten 6 times per day. So that's pretty great. Just by increasing protein and eating more frequently, you can improve your body composition, improve satiety, and boost metabolism. However, keep in mind that the population in this group was overweight. These results may not carry over to other populations, but it was an interesting finding regardless. The truth of the matter is, if it's not high in protein, consuming 3 versus 6 meals per day doesn't really seem to matter. The Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition reported that as long as we eat the right foods in the right amounts, meal frequency seems to be a matter of personal preference more than anything else. In other words, you can eat a lot of small meals each day, something like consuming a small meal every few hours, or you can eat the traditional 3 big meals each day, and there's almost no physiological difference. Just decide what you like and what fits your life. For me, I've always been a 6 meals per day person. I started this just because I was hungry and I was always running from sport to sport. I know plenty of super fit people who practice this strategy, but I also know people who have excellent body composition who don't like being bothered by eating so much. Again, you need to ask yourself, what works for me? This applies to other topics dealing with nutrient timing too. I could argue to death either side of the eat breakfast or skip breakfast debate, and the same thing goes for should you stack most of your food towards the beginning or end of the day debate. There's evidence and good research to support both arguments. So with all this contradicting information, what do you do? I suggest to try both to see what works best for you. Just keep an open mind. As I mentioned before, nutrition is very individualized, and we're all unique, so one script for what to eat is not appropriate for everybody. There are a few guidelines, but they can be adapted. So what's the bottom line with meal frequency? Eating frequently may help with optimizing some aspects of performance, body composition, and health, but it is likely overemphasized in many people. The general consensus from the research is that the number of meals you eat per day has no benefit except when high protein is involved and maybe only in specific populations. In the end, eating frequently may keep you from feeling over-hungry and gorging at the next meal. But you have to know your eating patterns and habits to see if it will work for your lifestyle. I'm often asked this question too. Can I eat late at night? Well, stay tuned because in the next lecture, I will spend the entire time going through the myths and facts about nighttime eating and discuss a lot of new information on that topic. At this point, I'd like to help you digest all of this information that really seems to go in opposite directions at times. As I've said multiple times, what you do depends on your goals. Athletes have different nutritional needs than the average person, for instance, and even with these two groups, different goals can drastically affect individual approaches to the same problem. Within reason, there is no right or wrong answer when it comes to the various aspects of nutrient timing and choices, so long as you're making positive steps towards achieving your goals. Choose whichever plan works for you and your lifestyle. Check with your doctor to make sure it's good for you, and then stick to it. It seems to me that some people are so focused on the nitty-gritty of nutrient timing that they forget about the big picture, which is to improve and optimize your body composition, health, and performance. Focusing too much on meal timing can be stressful, so don't let it be. The less stressful you can make it, the easier it is to incorporate it into your life. Overall, I suggest that you concentrate more on the overall composition of your diet throughout the day and the habits that you can easily change before moving into advanced nutrient timing strategies. The take-home message is this. Make sure that you are getting adequate carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, and micronutrients throughout the day to fuel your lifestyle. And understand that this may differ drastically from person to person. Then, try some of the various timing strategies that we just went over and see if they work well for you. Try this. Start by eating 6 smaller, protein-rich meals per day to see if it works for your lifestyle and your goals.